I mean, I am a professional. How could I miss just one digit? I did it, people. I missed one digit. There we go. Get the little old lady from Pasadena instead of Frank.
Frank Stritto talking about movies.
Who had the hit record Suddenly? It was a duet.
Okay.
Olivia Newton-John, right? Suddenly, was it from Grease or one of those movies?
I think you're right, but Joe, every week you insist on asking me music questions because you know I never know the answer.
You got that right. I know you don't.
Okay.
Suddenly, we talked about this before, didn't we?
Yes, it was on, we had it on last year, and this is fine because this is one of the better movies you've got in your lineup. It's good at a couple of levels. Frank Sinatra had just come off surprise success with From Here to Eternity, and he won the Academy Award. The Academy Award was given to him in March of 1954, and a few months later, Suddenly came out, which pretty much proved that From Here to Eternity was no freak. He's really good in this movie. He's really sinister. I won't be giving much away because in the first few minutes you realize he is a would-be presidential assassin who's getting ready to do his job. He's
Before Manchurian Candidate.
Before yes. Manchurian Candidate, yes. So I think he has a claim to be the only actor in history who played two unsuccessful presidential assassins, but I'm not sure of that. Anyway, he's very good in this movie. A year after this movie, he made The Man with the Golden Arm. So I think the mid-50s, between From Here to Eternity, Suddenly, and The Man with the Golden Arm, he could have gotten an Academy Award for any one of them. He only won it for the first one. He was at his peak as an actor, and I don't think he ever had such a good run again. He's 39. You know, he's been a star, a music star for 15 years or so. And but his career was somewhat in decline until From Here to Eternity turned it around, and then his music career came back. So it was Happy Days Are Here again from the mid-50s on for him. Okay, a trivia question for you, Joe. I'm going to ask you a question you may not know the answer to.
You can ask Richie Sarno too. He's my co-host tonight.
Okay, so 1954 Suddenly is about an attempted presidential assassination. There was a successful presidential assassination, unfortunately, 9 years later in 1963, John Kennedy. But before 1954, when was the last presidential assassination attempt?
Abe Lincoln?
No, there was one later on afterwards. It was like
actually, most people don't remember this.
Was it in the 20s?
Attempted assassination of Harry Truman that actually killed a White House policeman.
Oh, is that right?
That was big news in 1950, obviously, but it was not something that's remembered today. Another thing on presidential assassinations, there has always been the story that Lee Harvey Oswald saw this movie. And Lee Harvey, this movie, again, I'm not giving much away because you'll find this out in the first few minutes. Frank Sinatra intends to assassinate the president, who, by the way, would be Dwight Eisenhower at this time, assassinate the president with a high-powered rifle looking out the window of a building into his limousine. And that's, of course, exactly what Lee Harvey Oswald did.
Well, maybe that's where the Warren Report got the idea for the fiction.
Maybe. And Lee Harvey Oswald saw this movie at age 15, if he saw it. It played in New Orleans when he was living there. But it also played on television in Dallas some months before, November 22nd, 1963. And it was pretty much taken for granted that Oswald had seen the movie, and there's been extensive research on that. And about now it seems the current thinking is he did not. I don't have an opinion because I haven't done any of the research, but there's been a lot looking into this. But it is very much like the well, not very much like, but the big picture is very much the same as the John Kennedy assassination. Some things to watch in this movie. There's three would-be assassins. The shortest of them is a man named Paul Frees, who you may or may not have seen before, but you have heard him before, because he is one of the great voices of 1950s movies. He did a lot of voiceover work.
Yeah.
And you'll also hear his voice in this movie as a baseball announcer. They turn on a baseball game late in the movie, and he is the announcer on that. And he did some acting, and he pops up in old movies every now and then, but I'm never surprised to hear his voice because he did so much of it. Two of the people in the movie are still with us. The leading lady, Nancy Gates, who I guess she would be in her 80s now, but she's only 28 when the movie was made. And the boy who plays her son was a kid named Kim Carney. He's 9 years old then, and he had a run. He had a typical run of a child star. He appeared in a lot. He was in a lot of television, a lot of movies. I think this was his high point as far as quality of film. And then he didn't make the transition, so he left acting as he got older. And for quite a few people, I think this is the high point of their. It's not the high point of their careers. It's the last hurrah for many of them. Because after this, no matter how long their careers were, they never did much better.
Did you see the Star Trek, The Unknown Country, the movie?
Whose movie? Excuse me.
Star Trek, The Unknown Country.
I think I did. I tell you the truth, they all tend to blend in my mind.
Great line in it from William Shatner. The first rule of assassination is to kill the assassin. Or maybe it's from Mr. Spock. But anyway, if these assassins survived and the three that went after Kennedy didn't survive, they could only focus on Oswald. See, I think the movie was precognitive. Whoever killed Kennedy put the movie out there, Frank, so that people would be ready. They were putting the propaganda out.
Well, the movie did come out 9 years before. It played on Dallas television on a local station, so it was not a big deal.
No, but they ran it. The whomever was involved ran it